Hi, my name is Katie and I love to talk about Jesus and the Bible, homemaking, baking, and anything creative. And today we are going to be spending the day in the kitchen making some food from scratch. We are going to get straight into it by making some cinnamon buns. They're the same as cinnamon rolls but just shaped differently. These are not gluten-free, but if you want the recipe, it's down in the description. You guys actually wanted me to do a video on this a few months ago, so this recipe is really straightforward. Don't worry, you don't have to feel intimidated. You just want to get all your dry ingredients in a bowl and then all your wet ingredients and then combine them together. Now I'll note that it's important to start with the food that's going to take the longest to be ready. This has 2 proofing times, which just means it's going to rise twice. And once I set it aside, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is yogurt. It also takes long to be ready to eat, but making it is really quick. Don't forget to add in your butter, and of course make sure your work surface is clean. You can soap up your counter, wipe it off, and then dry it off with a dish towel because we are going to be kneading our dough straight on the counter, so you want to make sure it's clean. So you're going to knead it till it comes together. It's not supposed to be shaggy. It's supposed to be a nice, soft, and smooth dough. If it's too wet, add a little bit of flour, but don't add too much. You might be tempted to add more flour, but if it's wet, just leave it for 5 minutes and come back to it. The gluten will strengthen and it will just be a better dough in 5 minutes. Whenever you're adding the flour, add a tablespoon at a time because you don't want to make your dough tough, because then the baked good is going to be tough, and tough cinnamon rolls are not fun to eat. So just don't add too much. Okay, so now we are onto the yogurt section of the video. This is a bottle of yogurt that I already made, right? And so when you're making yogurt, you're going to need some yogurt, or at least that's how I make it. So you can call it your yogurt starter, kind of like sourdough. If you want to make sourdough bread, you have to have a sourdough starter to make it. Same thing with yogurt. So I have a tablespoon of yogurt that I already made, and I'm adding it to 4 cups of warm milk. I don't use a thermometer. Other people use thermometers. I don't do that. I just warm up my milk, whether that's a box of milk that I pour into a pot and I warm it. You don't want it to simmer. You don't want it to boil. Or if it's powdered milk and you mix it in with hot water, and then you mix in your yogurt starter, just a tablespoon. You mix it together really well with a whisk, and then I'm just getting some jars that I have. You're gonna want to make sure they're clean because yogurt is like good bacteria, and you don't want bad bacteria in your good bacteria, if you get what I'm saying. So you want to make sure your jars are clean. You don't have to be crazy about it. Just wash it with soap and water. If you have hot water, you can wash them with hot water too. Fill your jars and then place them in a pot of hot water. I don't measure the temperature at all. I just boil some water in a kettle and pour it into the pot, and I just put the jars in and I leave it till the morning or for 8 hours, and that's it. And that's what I do. Now, time to wash up these dishes and get into the next recipe, which is banana bread. This recipe is gluten-free, and you can get it in my gluten-free cookbook. The link is in the description. This is one of the ways you can support my channel, by the way, and I would really appreciate it. Just head on over to the description, check out my newsletter, sign up for it, and you'll be notified when my cookbook comes out, unless it's already out. Hooray! Thanks if you bought a copy, so appreciate it. Let me know. Make one of the recipes and tag me on Instagram at ahomemadetreasure. I'd love to see it. So much fun. Okay, now this banana bread, it's a very soft and moist banana bread, and it's not dry whatsoever. You're gonna love it. Now this is the filling for the cinnamon buns, and also that thing that you saw I had wrapped in a plastic wrap, that was actually dough for making crackers that I had in the fridge actually from my last video. I didn't make all the crackers. I just made a few and then put the dough in the fridge, and a few days later, probably like a week actually later, I've come back to make the rest of the crackers. So this is the filling for the cinnamon buns. The dough is finished, it's first proof, and I'm just rolling it out and adding the filling. So after adding the filling in, I'm going to just roll it and flap it over like that. And then I'm going to roll it with a rolling pin a few more times. And then I'm going to cut it into strips to make the rolls. Now, if you were making cinnamon rolls, you would just roll up your dough in a log shape. And then you could either cut it or use a string. You can probably look up how to do that exactly, and just like, I think some people use floss, and you can just cut the rolls with the floss. If you're wondering how I did this, I just wrapped it around my fingers and then tucked the tail underneath. I think I did like a double wrap, so like wrap, and then going the other direction and then tucking it underneath. Yeah, there's also other shapes I'm sure you could do, and you could experiment with that, make whatever shape you want. It's all about what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? It's your baked stuff, you can do what you want. Now I'm just adding an egg wash, so when they come out of the oven they're going to be brown and pretty. I added a little bit of sugar to mine. You can look up on YouTube or on Instagram different types of egg washes, like people put eggs and milk. I don't know if people put eggs and butter, I'm not sure, but honestly, just whatever egg wash you want to do, just do that. And then taking out my banana bread, and now moving on to the crackers. Now these crackers, right, another one of my recipes in my cookbook, you can make them whatever you want. If you want to put cheese in these crackers, do that. They taste great. Just grate some cheese, or if you want to have a specific type of seasoning, you know, salt and vinegar, like Italian seasoned crackers with oregano. I mean, it's just a blank canvas and you can just flavor it however you want. And now these cinnamon rolls are done and I am packing them away. Now the thing with the crackers, sometimes they don't all cook at the same rate, so you just, like the ones that didn't cook through yet, I just kind of break them up and put them back in the oven. As you can see, they're a lot darker now. Cut the crackers, like separated them because they weren't finished yet and some were, and then just put them back in the oven and then take them out. Please remember them because they will burn if you forget, and you will be sad because you just did all that work to eat burnt crackers. I may or may not have burnt my crackers. Let's just not talk about it. And yeah, that is it for today. So we made some yogurt, we made some cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, made some gluten-free crackers, we made some gluten-free banana bread. I was tired, girl, but I had some food, you know what I'm saying? So it's worth it. Okay, and that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this inspired you to make something in your kitchen. See you in my next video.